one of these.
Like to welcome everyone to the Emmaus Borough Council meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we'll have Personal Appeals Part 1. Anyone who has a personal appeal, please sign in. You have 5 minutes for your appeal.
Good evening, Council. Hold on, I have to get one that works.
I'd still put one there anyway.
While I'm signing in, my lovely assistant is passing something out to you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, do I need to put email and everything else on the sign-in?
Do you have to what?
Do I have to do email and everything else on the sign-in?
No.
Okay.
Just your name and your address.
Thank you.
I think we know how to get in touch with you.
Thanks. Well, good evening, Council. I'm here this evening to urge you to appeal a zoning hearing board variance approval on February 25th, 2026 for 215 and 217 Ridge Street. Here's some reasons why I and our neighbors think this has merit for appeal. First, neither the zoning hearing board nor the applicant could agree on the project type or use. Applicant and the borough code enforcement interpreted this as a conversion of an existing building. Zoning hearing board overruled that, heard the case as a new multifamily dwelling. Ultimately, the zoning hearing board decided to go from a conversion of an existing building to a multifamily, thus creating an off-street parking requirement from 1 per living space to 2 per living space. This made for a total increase of from 4 to 8 for the combined properties, thus increasing the burden for the developer. Second, the applicant showed no evidence of the inability to provide off-street parking, and the zoning hearing board did not ask for any evidence to that effect. I have since met with an engineering firm and an excavation firm that have confirmed off-street parking can be provided for this property. The zoning variance is intended to provide limited relief from strict application of zoning ordinance solely where unnecessary hardship or unique physical conditions of the property make compliance impossible or unreasonable. In approving the parking variance, the zoning hearing board failed to require the applicant to meet this high burden. Courts have consistently held that economic convenience, increased profitability, or design preferences do not constitute hardship sufficient to justify a variance. Thirdly, this is a self-created hardship by the applicant because they did not simply restore the houses to the original use, which would have required no off-street parking, and as a single-family dwelling would have produced less parking needs. Fourth, parking requirements exist to protect the public safety, traffic flow, neighborhood character, and quality of life. The approved variance eliminated the number of required parking spaces to below what the ordinance deems necessary for the approved use. That's the approved use zoning hearing board ultimately decided on as a new multifamily. The board did not adequately explain how this reduction remains consistent with the ordinance's stated purpose, therefore granting a variance that directly conflicts with those objectives without compelling justification. This sets a precedent that weakens the ability to enforce zoning standards and invites arbitrary decision-making. Fifth, the variance was granted without substantial evidence in record. A zoning board's decision must be supported by substantial evidence, not speculation or anecdotal statements. Sixth, the board failed to consider reasonable alternatives to the variance. The applicant did not adequately explore reasonable alternatives that would allow compliance with off-street parking requirements such as site redesign, shared parking agreements, or reduced intensity of use. That would have been by keeping it at its prior use before changing to multifamily. A variance should be a last resort, not a convenience. The board's failure to require exploration of alternatives further demonstrates that the approval was premature and legally deficient. 7, the zoning hearing board creates zoning by variance, which is bad for our community as the ordinance becomes ineffective and owners in the same zoning district must live with different rules. This is currently happening where other developers are providing off-street parking per the zoning ordinance requirements, and others are getting relief. There are several projects within a block of this project that have provided ample off-street parking, one actually including this applicant's project at 2nd and Ridge Streets. By allowing a parking reduction that is not available to similarly situated properties, the board effectively granted special treatment to a single applicant. This creates unequal enforcement of the zoning ordinance and may amount to a de facto spot zoning, which is not desirable under our zoning laws. Zoning regulations must be applied consistently, and departure from uniform standards requires strict justifications, which was absent here. In conclusion, because the zoning hearing board failed to apply the correct legal standards, did not support its finding with substantial evidence, and neglected to adequately consider public impacts and ordinance intent, its approval of the variance was arbitrary and an abuse of discretion. The decision should therefore be appealed for further proceedings consistent with law and due process. I've also pointed out the sections of our current zoning ordinance that apply to each of the items that I discussed, and I will field any questions if there are any.
Are there any questions?
Just legit, Mr. Gibson, the decision has not yet actually been officially rendered by the zoning hearing board. They have 45 dates from the date of the hearing, which was at the
Is
end
that
of February.
45 business days or 45?
It's 45 days. The MPC is clear. It's 45 days, our own zoning ordinance. So until we actually see a decision, no decision can actually be rendered.
Then they're past their 45 days from the 25th of February.
45, I don't believe they are.
31.
45 days.
28. You're right, Jason. It's 28
Because
February.
remember, because it has a weird number at the end of February, so it's actually less than you think.
You know,
but-
you throw that leap year and it confuses me.
No,
all
no,
the
no.
time.
But I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know from a legal perspective. We can't even make a decision
I fully
until we see the
understand that. This is preemptive to let you know what transpired at that February 25th hearing, and how arbitrary.
Hold on, Mike. Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to continue 5-minute appeal.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Councilman Anders? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? There are 5 ayes.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Mike.
So this was just preemptive to put it there. It has been discussed with our neighborhood. We don't think it's our responsibility as neighbors to appeal this, one from a perspective of cost, since we all did go and testify at that hearing and were summarily dismissed. Evidence that I put here and evidence that came subsequently was presented and did not get put into the record. So this is preemptive so that hopefully the council will move forward with an appeal of the zoning hearing board when it is rendered.
Okay. And the only
within
other
the
thing
30
I'd point out is, like I said, you do have your own appeal rights. I would point those. I understand that the
But
cost
again,
is more.
That shouldn't be a burden of the residents because of something the zoning hearing board. We then have to bear the cost as a neighborhood for something that we spent 3.5 years working on to prevent these kind of variances being granted. That was not taken into account, and at the very onset of this meeting, the borough's code enforcement and the applicant, who did submit accurately as a conversion of an existing building, was overridden by the zoning hearing board, who didn't understand the very own document that they're tasked with enforcing. And it is clearly in definitions, as I put in here for you, that you can see that this should have been a conversion. So at a minimum, they would have had to require them to put in parking for 4 to each half of the twin. When I talked to an engineering firm and a excavating company, I asked them, can it be done for 8, 4 for each? And the answer was yes.
Understood. Let's
I
see.
even have
Let's see what
costs.
their written decision. And that's the
Absolutely.
thing. We actually have to see what the written
I
decision
fully
says, because
understand that.
sometimes that does change between oral decision to written decision. They may address that, but we don't know.
Thank you. That's good to know that they could change it.
When do they meet next, Shane?
They don't have to meet to render the decision.
Yeah, so you as a council need to understand your process. You can't just override anything.
Right, I know
Yeah.
that.
Your appeal process is you'd have to appeal it to Lehigh County Court and send your solicitor to bring your case as an appellant to that decision.
And we have to file something called a notice of intervention to do that, to file the land use appeal.
Right, I'm just saying, when do they meet again that they may render this decision?
No.
they don't
So
have
the writ- it's-
Their attorney writes.
they
writes
write
out
a
the
written
legal
decision and it gets mailed to the applicant and all objectors.
Okay.
And then
That
the
has to
appeal
be
has
done
to,
within
appeal
45
has to be
days.
filed within
Then
30
within
days of
30
that
days of the
45
date of
day.
that
Okay,
45
I didn't know
days.
if they were meeting again here, that they could
No.
come back.
It's usually like 2.5, like the best way to think of it is from the date you have your hearing, it's usually 2.5 months before something must happen before the Court of Common Pleas.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Nothing further?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other appeals from the audience? All right.
Online.
We'll check our online guests if there's any virtual appeals. You're being unmuted. If you have an appeal, just state your name and what your appeal is and your address.
Do it one more time. Nothing.
All right, there's no appeals. For the record, President Dufresne and Councilman Brown will not be attending this evening. All right, at this point, do we have any community minutes to bring forward?
Mr.
Madam Mayor?
President, I do. Thank you. We actually have 3 events this month with the police department. The first one is Friday, April 17th, is Coffee with a Cop at Wawa from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. We also have Drug Take Back Day, which is Saturday, April 25th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the police department. And we also have Fishing with a Cop on Saturday, April 25th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Furnace Dam. I don't know how the deputy chief did it, but he managed to get 500 worms and 40 reel and rod kits donated. So come on out, go fishing, or have coffee with a cop.
Thank you.
Just the Emmaus Kiwanis had their annual Easter egg hunt on Saturday, and it was very successful. It was a nice day. They had great turnout. They had 3 food trucks there down at the community park. They did want to stress thank you to the borough and council and everyone for their assistance in the setup and the park being in great shape. So just wanted to pass that along from them. Thank you.
Anyone else?
The Emmaus 4 Miler is on Sunday. The Emmaus Community Foundation has taken that over. I do think there's still time to sign up on the foundation's website.
I
So
believe last I heard they were expecting 300, which is more than double of last year's participants.
that's exciting.
On a sad note, one of our retired longtime employees who worked in the public works, John Costa, passed away, and our thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends. So sorry to pass that along, but we have no special presentations. We have the reading of the council meeting minutes. Does somebody like to make a motion to approve the March 16th meeting minutes? Councilman Balliet, second by Councilwoman Brem. Any discussion or corrections? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? There are 5 ayes. We have no decisions on bids. Under communications, we have a Christian Deidre requesting reappointment to the Planning Commission for a 4-year term expiring April 1st, 2030. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve that? Councilwoman Brem, seconded by Councilman Anders. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Who's?
Putin.
5 yeas. It's passed.
He's out of practice.
All right. Mike Gibson requesting reappointment to the Planning Commission, term expiring April 1st, 2030. Is there a motion to approve that? Councilman Balliet, seconded by Councilwoman Watt. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, wait.
Mike Gibson? No,
Yes.
I'm kidding. That's great. How many years is this now, Mike, that you're here? That's a lot. Thank you very much for being involved in the community for that long.
And thank you for sticking around and helping certain council persons take over as the new president or husband. Sorry. But anyway, it's glad you're sticking around.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? There are 5 ayes. We received a application for an event. It's replacing the 5 Mile Funk, or the Funk 5 Miler, I guess they called it. It's now called the Emmaus Trip Tees 5 miler. So this will just go to,
Trip tease, not strip tease.
yeah, trip with a T.
I heard that.
I believe he might be here.
I'll recommend it or refer.
here.
I'll refer it to administration, but there is a request for alcohol on the triangle, so we'll need a motion to approve that. Councilman Balliet, is there a second?
Second.
Councilwoman Brem, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, there are 5 ayes.
He's actually president. I don't know if he wants to.
Do you want to speak?
Did you want to say a few words, or are you just good with the approval? All right. Does anybody else have a communication to bring forward? All right, we have no borough engineers report, solicitors report.
No report.
right.
Progress.
Unfinished business part 1 and new business and unfinished business part 2, we have none. Does anybody have anything to bring forward not on the agenda? Hearing none, Madam Mayor's report.
Thank you. You have my report for the first portion of the year. Other than that, progress.
Thank you. Public Works Committee Chairman Balliet.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. For tonight, for council's consideration, we have Resolution 2026-15, approving the application to Lehigh County and the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for a community development block grant, which is our CDBG grant. And we will be applying for $1,000 for
$100,000.
$100,000.
$100,000, sorry, for our curb cuts.
And you're placing that in the form of a motion?
Yes, sir.
Motion by Councilman Balliet. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilwoman Watt. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? There are 5 ayes.
Our next meeting will be Monday, April 13th at 4:45, and with that, I'll report progress.
Thank you. Health, Sanitation, and Codes Committee Chairman Brown is not here. Would one of the two
Maybe Shane can
councilwomen
take-
like
maybe
to
Shane can take this?
report?
Yeah. So right. We'll actually give this one to our solicitor to talk about the sewage facilities planning module for.
So just so
417.
everybody knows, this is an approved development that you guys have already approved in the past. This is their sewage planning module. It's actually a rather odd parcel. Mr. Ott's developing it with in coordination with. It's actually they're using some of the sewage facilities connected to Salisbury Township because of where it's located. So that's why this is being brought to council.
All right, so we have Resolution 2026-14, which is the 417 South Mountain Street Sewage Facilities Planning Module. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve that?
Motion.
Councilman Balliet, seconded by Councilman Anders. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? There are 5 ayes. There's also the meeting notes to read, and their next meeting is April 21st at 4:45. Is that usually Zoom or in person?
Both.
Okay. So progress for that committee. Parks and Recreation Committee, Chairman Anders.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. The first item to just review and discuss, that's not needing to be a motion, is it, Shane?
Only if there's a difference of opinion, I would think.
Okay, so we discussed in the committee about the Borough Park DCNR grant application priorities. The priorities, as noted, would be the parking lot, the baseball field, and the playground. The application would be for approximately $350,000 with a $350,000 match from us. That would be, we would be doing that over several years within our budget. You typically spread it out amongst 3 years. And as you can see, if you look at the master plan, it called for a lot of the items that we're noting here. The playground, obviously, we want to upgrade some of the equipment there. The parking lot, which we're looking to put a second parking lot at the other end of the park up by the baseball field, that will relieve the neighborhood parking issues that occur when there is baseball games at the field. And and the baseball field itself needs regrading and some general upkeep. It's not an overhaul like we did over at the Lions Playground. So are there any
It's a
questions?
major regrading of
Yeah.
the ball field. So you saw the budget. There were a lot of things in that master park plan. The committee took a look at this. DCNR did have a discussion with me, and they said if we could come up with the other 50% of the entire cost, they have different grant money to apply for. And I said, we don't have $1.1 million sitting in a budget. So we're going to go after the C2P2 program, which is the typical 50-50 match for that amount. We figured we'd bring it in front of you because those were the priorities that we were thinking about. And quite honestly, if that's all we completed on that project, it would still be a good park rehabilitation.
Okay, so next is a support letter for the PADCNR Lower Macungie Trail Study Grant. If you read through this a little bit, there's trails that will interconnect with Emmaus at some point, and this would be a beneficial for an overall, not only our community, but for connecting to other communities throughout the area and making us more, someone could go from Emmaus to Lower Macungie to Upper Macungie and so forth. So we do need a resolution.
It'll be a support letter. I think.
So a motion to send a letter of support?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's a sample.
There is, right, a resolution for it.
A sample motion in there because if the study is granted, they're asking that we would pay our portion of the study grant.
So I have the motion to authorize the borough manager to send a letter of support to Lower Macungie Township for the submission of a Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources Community Conservation Partnerships Program grant for the completion of a feasibility study for the Western Lehigh Greenway Trail and agreeing to financially support the grant with a proportional amount of matching funds.
Motion by Councilman Anders. Is there a second? Second. Councilwoman Brem, any questions or discussion? I have a question. When is this for next year, or is it could it be this year yet?
No, so same organization that we're applying to. Those grants are due at the end of April. The last time that we were awarded a grant, it was on Christmas Eve that year, right? That's when we got the Lions Playground. So think of December, end of September through December time frame of being awarded. By the time they go out to bid and get a company, we're into 2027.
So budgeting purposes is where I'm
2027.
going. But if it comes in December, how will we know how much?
Probably won't.
Okay.
Other than we kind of had a hint
Ballpark.
that we were getting it, and we had
Like
a ballpark
20,000 or
of
something?
what the cost would be. Yeah.
If-
Well, so a study like this, let's call it $80,000 maybe. Megan, is that your experience probably for something like this, 80,000?
Yeah.
50-50 match. So it's probably a $40,000 grant. You split the other 40 between three or
And
four of us. 20,000 is the most. It'd probably be a lot less than that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? There are 5 ayes.
So our meeting notes from March 19th are attached. One thing I did want to note in here is the summer concerts are vastly approaching, and we are short-staffed, as you know, on the commission, and we're looking for volunteers. Shane recently sent out a link for us to sign up with Sign Up Genius to help out with the concerts. If you haven't been down to one in years or helped out, it's making some announcements. It's meeting and greeting our residents and the people who come to the concerts, and it's also helping collect the bucket funds to help offset the cost. And it's just actually it's good to be there as a council person, and they get to see that we support it just as much as we have our volunteers do. So I would ask that each of you sign up, even if you can only do one date. It would be great. It's literally maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours of your time on a Sunday evening. Shane's brought his whole family down. His daughter is like the master wizard of the buckets. So Shane can do it. We all should be able to do it. And I'm sorry if I sound preachy, but I've do 2, 3, 4 concerts a year. Megan was part of the commission last year and did several of them. So I look forward to seeing you all down there and signing up. The rest of our notes are attached. Our next meeting is, April 16th at 4:45. With that, I'll report progress.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee, Chairwoman Watt.
Our meeting on Wednesday, April 8th is canceled. And our next meeting will be May 13th. Progress.
Thank you. General Administration Committee is myself. Several items to address. First, we have the purchase of NeoGov HR software. It was recommended by the committee to purchase the NeoGov HR software, which is a 3-year contract. This will be a great time saver and keep us compliant with yearly required training. It is also an asset for our employees who want to expand their training. As an example, they can go in there and learn computer training. If you're working the public works or something, you can learn these skills. And also we're able to put all their certifications and licenses all in one spot versus in folders. So
Policy as well.
and policies also. So this is going to be a great improvement for efficiency as far as being up to date on these things. So would somebody like to make a motion to approve that? Councilman Anders, second. Councilman Balliet, any discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, there are 5 ayes. The next 4 items, the committee discussed EMS policy recommendations with Keith, which updated and clarified language in the policies. They were discussed with the employees. They had some input. What's that?
It was Adam.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was Adam. Adam was there. And we made some changes, and these are the 4 recommendations for the policies. So the first one is adopt amended EMS vacation policy. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve that? Councilwoman Brem, second. Councilman Balliet, any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? There are 5 ayes. Next, we have the I need a motion to adopt the amended EMS holiday policy. Councilwoman Brem, seconded by Councilwoman Watt. Any questions or discussion on this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? There are 5 ayes. Can I have a motion to adopt the amended EMS sick leave policy?
So moved.
Motion by Councilwoman Watt, seconded by Councilwoman Brem. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? There are 5 ayes. And lastly, for the policies, need a motion to adopt the amended EMS overtime and compensatory time policy. Would somebody like to make a motion? Councilman Balliet, seconded by Councilwoman Watt. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? There are 5 ayes. So that takes care of our 4 policies for EMS. Next, we have Resolution 2026-13, disposal of municipal records. It's about 2 pages of items that are no longer required to be kept by the borough, and we're going to dispose of them. So would somebody like to make a motion to approve that resolution?
I'll make
Councilwoman Brem, seconded by Councilman Anders. Any questions?
Just I see we had some from 1988 as far back, which is interesting. That's all. That's all. Just noting that there was some older stuff in there.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? 5 ayes. Next is we have an appointment for a voting delegate. So we would need a motion to appoint Shane as the 2026 PSAB Conference voting delegate. Would somebody like to make that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Councilwoman Watt, seconded by Councilman Balliet. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? There are 5 ayes. Lastly, we need to authorize the borough manager to contact PPL for underground electric to Canals Homestead. This would be putting the lines underground to make it look more historic. The Canals Homestead organization is going to be paying for it, so they'll take care of the cost. Would somebody like to make that motion? Councilwoman Brem, seconded by Councilman Anders, any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? 5 ayes. There's 2 sets of meeting minutes, and our next meeting was the 15th at 9 a.m., but I believe we're going to be canceling that. Unless
Possibly. Yeah.
we'll hold off on that in case there's something we need to take action on. Shane has
I have a day with E EPA.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
the federal EPA, and they're requiring him to be there, so.
Yeah.
All right, with that, I report progress. Budget and Finance Committee, that's President Dufresne, and he's not here, so I'll do that also. We have Resolution 2026-16. It's amending the 2026 fee schedule to reflect private swimming lessons and to amend the fee in lieu of parking requirements for the downtown core and downtown neighborhood districts. As a note, the committee did vote to increase the recommended $900 per space to $1,500.
Correct. And the swimming lessons piece was added in. You'll see an email from Tiffany Reed. The issue is there's some pool rentals in the morning, and it's going to limit the number of group swimming lessons. So we want to offer people the opportunity to take swimming lessons during the day. We don't have anything in the fee schedule for that. She proposed a fee schedule that council would have to adopt.
Thank you. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-16? Councilman Balliet, seconded by guys, keep it going here. You just got to raise your hand. Councilman Anders. All right. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
4 ayes, 1 no. Councilwoman Watt. Next, we have EMS billing RFP authorized to release a bid. And this has been worked on by the committee for a couple of months reviewing it. And it's being referred to actually go out. So would somebody like to make a motion to approve the RFP for EMS billing?
So moved.
Motion by Councilwoman Watt, second by Councilwoman Brem. Any questions? Councilman Anders.
I was just curious, is there any idea of how many companies you think may respond to it that we might have?
So the last time we had 4 or 5.
Okay.
I would imagine probably about the same. We did put requirements on there. One of the deal breakers for us is the ability, because we're a community-based ambulance, and it is very important that if our citizens show up to the ambulance department with a problem with their bill, that we have access to the reporting system and the live computer system inside the billing company. A lot of companies don't have that access. But I refuse to tell a citizen that comes in, you're going to have to call an 800 number of customer service, right? So that is a very important part. So that's going to limit the number of companies that will bid. The current company does do that. And there are 1 or 2 others that we've talked to that has that ability as well. But there's also 1 or 2 out there that are relatively local that don't have that ability. And that's a deal breaker. It absolutely is a deal breaker because 70-year-old Aunt Edna comes into our ambulance station. She does not want to call a 1-800 number for them to say, well, that's what it is. What she wants is our ladies at the front desk who are incredibly helpful to sit down with her, explain to her what's inside the system, explain to her what the issue is, and they get on the phone and maybe call the billing company and say, you made an error because it should have been coded this or it should have been coded that. So you'll be amazed how many times we see that. And that's absolutely essential.
It's old-fashioned customer service.
Absolutely.
Our residents deserve it. Thank you.
So that will limit the number. That'll bring that number down by at least a couple.
All right, any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? There are 5 ayes. Next, we have the bill list. Resolved by the Borough Council to authorize payment of the April 6, 2026 bill list as follows. Bill list $550,263.80 $413,428.81. Payroll is 6 and 7, $413,428.68. Payroll taxes, $129,437.81 for a total of $1,093,130.30. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 2026-17?
So moved.
Motion by Councilwoman Watt, seconded by Councilman Balliet. Any questions? Well, I'm probably one of the few people that actually looks at the bill list, so I have a couple questions. On page 5, I saw a bill for a little over $1,400 for lanyards under clerical. Are they the same
Where are you at?
lanyards? Page 5 on the bottom. Just curious, because that's a lot of lanyards, unless it's something else that.
So that's lanyards are not lanyards around your neck.
That's why I'm
So if you-
asking.
Yeah, so it's air gas. So if you look, lanyards, harnesses, adapter tie-offs, this is for closed entry.
I even Googled
Yeah.
lanyards,
Yeah.
and that's what came up,
Yeah.
because I thought maybe there
Yeah.
was something else,
No,
but I
this
didn't
is-
get anything else.
This is for confined space entry.
All right, I do check.
I'm thinking, like, holy cow.
All right, on page,
That's a couple million lanyards.
VIP passes.
exactly, that's what caught my eye. Page 10, there was like 12,000 some for gym equipment. I know we discussed that during budget process, just wondering what that was. I don't remember. that.
That's offset. That's also, it's not necessarily equipment. That's for the upgrades at the gym that you guys
And
have
I
budgeted.
thought so, because
Yeah.
like windows and stuff we approved. All right. And then page 28, there was $348 for dog waste signs. I'm just wondering how many signs we get for that.
Look across the
I
road.
did see. Are those the only ones?
No, there's a couple others, but
Okay.
Somebody is obsessed with having their dog take a number 2 across the road. and
All we
not
need
letting
is a
it go.
camera. That would take care of it. So, all right. Any other questions?
We have a couple parks that we put it into.
I just have one for Shane real quick. I see the body and car cameras on the list. Are they all installed now, or where are we with that?
Body cameras are in the process of being installed. I think some of the new ones, I think most of the new ones for patrol are in. I know that Chief Hampshire was messing around with one the other day in my office, showing it to me. So I do know that they're being installed or have been installed. We're still, I think, installing stuff in the cars at this point. Some of the technology stuff is still ongoing with it. So just about there.
It's exciting. I know we changed that
Yeah, and
this
the
year
mayor,
in the
and
budget.
I don't know, the mayor, did you announce at the last meeting about the DA's money? Did we make that announcement?
No, I did not.
So the district attorney has given us $12,000 for
Best.
I read that
for vests
Yeah.
as well. So that helps with offsetting some of that cost.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? There are 5 ayes to pay the bills. You have a list of significant revenue and expenses for March. There are the meeting minutes there, 2 sets. During the second meeting, since I am on that committee, we did meet with Deputy Chief Hampshire about savings for the police department. There were some really good ideas that will help us budget-wise, and those will be brought forward at some point. So next meeting is Wednesday, the 15th at 11 a.m. Progress. Community Relations Planning and Development Committee Chairwoman Brem.
Thank you. We have a couple items this evening. Our first one is the appointment of Jackie Purcell to the Arts Commission. Her specialty is photography. She works for a local school and does a lot of their social media work, and she is able to attend all meetings, and I think she'll be a great fit. So I'll make a motion to approve her and appoint her to the commission.
With a term expiring February 7th of 2028.
Yes.
A motion by Councilwoman Brem, second by,
I think we also have to have the, isn't it, the background check?
It's already done. It's attached.
Yeah, it's in there.
It's already in there. Okay. All right. Yeah.
you like to second it?
Yes, sir.
Second by Councilman Anders. Any more questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? There's 5 ayes.
And I do have some representatives from the Arts Commission here to discuss the streets Streets to Creek program, and the pool concession murals.
I understand we have a couple slides, and you're going to walk us through those.
We do, yes.
If you could just put that a little closer so you can hear
Certainly.
yourself. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me.
And we can start with whichever, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay. No, we'll go in order by the.
Okay. And just to introduce myself, my name is Taylor Royak. I am the secretary of the Emmaus Arts Commission. And the first program that we're going to talk about is Street to Creek. So this program, I'll wait a second because I can't really see it.
There we go.
Okay, perfect. So we can go to that next slide. So Street to Creek is a community art project that combines art and environmentalism to decorate storm drains within the borough. So this was pioneered in York, PA. They've been doing it since 2018. And basically it's like trying to tie together the idea that like whatever you put in a storm drain is going to go to local waterways. Why Street to Creek? So obviously clean water is a public good and of special concern to Emmaus. That is something that we have, struggled with in the past. Emmaus's MS4 minimum control measures explicitly require public education. I'm sorry, I'm struggling with this microphone. But they explicitly require public education and outreach, public participation, pollution prevention, just a whole lot of education and housekeeping around the storm drains and waterways in our community. In general, I want to focus on storm drains that are in areas of town that are both on municipally owned property for our first round of this, and that have significant pedestrian traffic. I think I have this on a different slide, but I'll just talk about it here. In general, I want to focus on 3 storm drains for our first year of this program with the intent that we may expand that, but this will be a multi-year thing. The appetite for the hydrants within the community and painting those has shown that this is something that people are really interested in and really want to participate in. So I think this is going to be just kind of a spin-off of that with a little bit of a different bent, but that is also just a really exciting opportunity for people within our community. So want to target 3 drains. My idea is that we would do 1 near the library, 1 near Emmaus Community Park, and 1 near the high school. All 3 very trafficked areas that are not near houses necessarily. We did talk at CRD about the idea that we would get written permission from any landowners, property owners that we were going to be if we were going to do it in front of a house. I don't think that's a concern for this year necessarily. Like I said, these will all be very public spaces. But that is something that we'll come up with. The program will be run as a submission-based closed selection process. As I mentioned, this is a program that was pioneered in York, PA. Theirs is a contest where people get a $500 prize or something when their design is selected. I think for at least the first year of this, we just want to keep this kind of the same way that the fire hydrants are run. But with a little bit more oversight from us. So basically, with the fire hydrants, we approve designs. But with this, we would have people submit their completed designs and we would choose our favorite 3 that kind of hew best to the theme and also have the best artwork for this. So it's possible that we could transition to a contest with prizes later, but I think we need kind of a little bit more momentum and community understanding of how this works before we do that. As far as how much work this would be for the borough, relatively minimal. Concrete gets power washed about a week before painting is scheduled. You then seal it, volunteers paint over it, and then it gets sealed again, and it gets sealed yearly thereafter. We had talked about the concern that painted concrete could be slippery. And we, when I talked to the folks from York, they had talked about the fact that they do a sealant with grit mixed in to give it extra grip on top of that painted layer so that there's not concern for, pedestrians. Budget is relatively minimal. About $400. You don't need a ton of paint. These are going to be relatively small murals on the sidewalk around the storm drains. And it kind of just depends on how many different colors that we have. We will be, of course, mixing colors to accommodate for like the variety of shades that'll be within any of the murals. So as for longevity, we can expect a couple of years. It depends on a couple of factors. So foot traffic, salt usage, age of the concrete. When I talked to the folks from York again, they had said that they had like learned a lot from their program where, you know, they did one mural on brand new concrete and that like chipped really quickly. So concrete actually needs to kind of like age for about a year before you're able to paint on it and expect that paint to stay there. But as long as we seal them yearly, like we should have a good couple years out of them. So York has run this program since 2018, and in that time, they've painted 30 murals in 20 spots. So they have painted over them in certain places when they get to look too shabby. But as you can see, like, you know, 30 murals in 20 places, it's about like a 5-ish to 8-ish year lifespan for the murals. What questions can I answer for you?
No,
I think
that's
this
great.
is really exciting. How big of a space are you looking to carve out for these around the drains?
I think it kind of depends on exactly like the sidewalk where we're going to be working and how much real estate there is around there. I wouldn't expect it to be more than like, you know, one sidewalk block. So I don't know the dimensions off that offhand, but you know,
That's okay.
3 by 3-ish.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so we'll need a motion to approve the Street to Creek storm drain program. Motion by Councilman Anders, second by
Second.
Councilwoman Brem. Any more questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? There are 5 ayes. All right,
you
your
so
pool
much.
concession stand mural.
Yes. Okay, so the pool mural. This we had talked about last May. Basically, like the Arts Commission was approved to paint a mural on the snack stand at the pool several years ago, and we've kind of been, you know, lagging behind on figuring out exactly what should go there and like making it happen. We presented a sunset theme designed in 2025. General consensus was that not everybody loved them, so we were asked to present new designs. So I found a community member. We can skip past this one. This is the original design just for context. But I found a community member who is a muralist and was interested in working with us on this project. I did present these designs to CRD already, as I think you all know, but these were the two that kind of were the favorite. So these were oriented towards okay, as you can see on this one, like the snack stand has that vertical slatting on it, which makes it a little bit difficult to paint. So this design was organized to both kind of make it clear that this is a snack stand where you can buy food, be like summery and fun, and also be simple enough that it's easy to paint on that difficult surface. We will wrap this around the other two sides of the building as well. We had talked about the idea of adding a pretzel and a hot dog for the sides of the building. And then this one was another design that was submitted that I had presented as a separate option for this, but CRD had thought they liked it so much that they were like, well, we could do the pump shed in this one. So I talked to Laura, our muralist, and she's very excited and very interested in moving forward on this and wanted to get everyone's opinion.
All right, we're going to need a motion to approve this also. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve the mural?
Make motion.
Councilwoman Brems, is there a second?
Which mural is she making?
The number 3 was the recommendation.
So it'll be
Or number
so-
1, actually.
So this will be
Yeah.
what the concession stand looks like, and then this will be on the side. I know that the bottom left photo is of the concession stand, but in reality, what they're going to do is they're going to take that concept and they're going to put it into that building that's in the upper right. That would be where the baby pool pump house is.
Okay.
So if you're looking at the concession stand from the pool, it's on the left-hand side. It's that building. So you'll look at the concession stand, see the food painting, and then
so
on the
option
left.
1 on the concession stand, option 3 on the other.
And
one.
thank you. Would you
the
like to
pump shed.
amend your motion? Okay, now is there a second?
Yeah.
Councilwoman Watt. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? There are 5 ayes. And thank you very much. And we're looking forward to seeing the
Thank you so much.
final product.
We're
Yeah,
very
well-
much looking forward to working on this.
We know you guys have worked hard on this, and it was a little frustrating, but we really like what this design looks
Yeah.
like. So thank you.
And I like the shirts. It really stands out. It does.
Custom orders.
So,
I'm also from the Arts Commission.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Hattie Fry from the Arts Commission. I'm the treasurer. I was coming to put in a request for a street closure for a mural that'll be going in on the bus paint building. I'm looking to close North Short Street between Main Street and Short Street, just on the other side of the building, the short section, from May 17th to the 20th during daytime hours.
that can be handled by the mayor.
Hold on a second. So don't discuss it yet. Do they need to make a motion to add that to the agenda?
So it is not, this is not on the agenda, but because she's a member of the public and she has raised it, it is not subject to the Sunshine Act. A member of the public is always welcome to put an
Right.
item onto the agenda. So you're fine.
Okay. So you can move forward with that discussion.
You have the information, right, Shane? I think you emailed me.
Yeah, yeah.
You copied
I
me on the email?
believe what I said was the mayor could do it,
Yeah.
or we could do
The
it. at
mayor
council.
has the right to close streets. So,
Not a problem.
Okay, and I could submit that in
It's,
writing.
it's not a state road, correct?
No.
That's the only question I would, if it was a state road, you'd need to get PennDOT permission. That was the only
We'll
reason I-
come right up to the line.
No, they'll be okay.
It's
You're
fine.
you're
I
off
didn't
the
think it
you're
was a
off the
state
curb.
road, but
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
you're
we'll
off the
be on
curb.
the sidewalk. We just wanted to ensure
Yeah, as long
that
as-
we're having community members assist in the volunteering too.
What are you
So
painting, by the way? I'm just curious.
what are we painting? We're painting, so this is a grant that Mantra Studios originally got from the chamber grant.
2 or 3 years ago.
Yes, it was from last year, but they still allowed us to grant it through because the process of finding an artist who could go within the budget of the grant was a little difficult, but we found someone and we've been back and forth between Scott, who owns the building, on finalizing a design. And so he approved that. I have pictures, but they're
Be
tiny.
nosy. It doesn't matter. I mean,
So-
it's not.
So Hattie, you don't need to send anything else.
I
You
don't.
You did send something before I sent it to the mayor.
Yeah.
So you don't have to send anything else. We have the information.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have the specific, the dates and,
Um,
I don't know, I don't have specific times yet, but I assume it would
that's
just
okay.
be
You said May 17th.
the
right.
Through the 20th.
18th and 20th.
Yeah, May
19th,
17th through the
wait,
20th.
19th, yeah.
You can send me just send me another email with details. If
With the times.
Okay.
Just so we know for sure.
Great. And I just wanted to update for the aspect of the sculpture garden that we've been trying to work on since 2022. We got the finalized structural engineering specs to have the base be ready to be poured for that.
yeah, I
to some
sent you an
degree.
email this afternoon.
Oh, great. I have not
Essentially,
checked it
what
yet.
it said was, I'd like to sit down with you and some of the other members of the commission and our public works director and talk about the entire big picture
Oh, sure,
and
yeah.
how to get that off the ground for you.
Yep, so we got the specs
Because once
for
we
that.
plop that thing down, it's never going to move.
Never.
It is a very heavy structure. So we need to make sure that that's exactly where we want to put it so that we can build.
We may have to go out and survey that area to pinpoint the exact spot.
That's why I think it'd be a good idea for us to sit down and just make sure that we have a direction of this is where it goes. Because once it goes, it's not coming back. It's like 1,000 pounds or something just for the base. So it's not something that we're going to just pick up and roll and move to the next spot. And then once the sculpture goes on it,
That's
we're
900
talking about
pounds, too.
we're talking about a full ton of weight that.
There's not a sinkhole over there, right?
Well, there might be once we put that on there.
Better not to. ask that.
But that's my point, though, is so that way, I mean, council approved the design years ago for the concept of the sculpture garden, but things, commission has changed, times have changed.
Yeah.
We had that MS4 issue that we had to figure out with it, and we think we got that all figured out with engineers. But now that we're kind of at reality of we're going to do this, we just make sure it's what you guys want to do.
Yep, and the focus is to get it up, to get it dedicated to Richard Farmer.
Yep.
And have his family involved in that, sort of like a ribbon cutting ceremony for him.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Hattie? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, going back to Chairwoman Brem.
All right, last couple of things. Our meeting notes are attached, and our next meeting is April 15th at 4:45, either in person or on Zoom. Progress.
Thank you. You have one set of meeting notes from the Recreation and Entertainment Commission. Personal Appeals Part 2. Does anybody have an appeal? All right, we'll unmute our virtual guests. If anyone online has an appeal, just speak up by stating your name and your address.
Hold on.
Just tell me when.
Oh, so that's our attorney. That's Jake, so it would just be Michael.
All right,
Nothing.
anybody? All right, hearing none. That takes us to the Borough Manager's report.
Okay. We have a number of seasonal hires. Again, getting closer to opening day at the pool. If you drop down that way, you'll see they have everything torn apart and are putting it back together right now. So, lifeguards, contingent upon successful completion of lifeguard training, we're hiring Liam Kuhn, Ellie Bagley, and Jacob Strauss. The following certified individual has been hired as a lifeguard, and that's Grace Stuchko. And I've hired concession stand and front desk clerks, Cole White, Laura Sofia Colorado Castano. That's one name. Isaac Moore, Drew McKechnie, Aubriana Erickson, Christina Calise, Shiloh Manzo, and Liliana Calise. So we've hired all those individuals for seasonal employment. And then the last part I want to share with you is we've fully hired one of our volunteers as she has completed her EMT certification and has started working with some other departments. So we are comfortable with hiring Sinai Braverman as a part-time EMT within the department. So outside of that, you see we have a lot going on, so I'll report progress.
Thank you. Under President's business, there is nothing. We do have an executive session, one for litigation on the PFAS lawsuit and one for workers' compensation litigation updates, with possible action to be taken after coming out of executive session. But with that, I would like to ask everyone to leave because we will be going into executive session. And I'll call that at 6:58.
Okay, hold on.
All right, we're coming out of an executive session at 8:13. For the record, we went into executive session at 6:58. At this time, I would like to ask for a motion to join in the PFAS lawsuit for turnout gear litigation, to join in that lawsuit.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Balliet. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Anders, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? There are 5 ayes. Is there a motion to adjourn? Councilman Anders, is there a second?
Second.
Councilwoman Brem, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Meeting adjourned at 8:14.